I can't stand double 15. I know you have this theory of every double's the same size, but it's another one I hated.
on the first leg.
Mario Robb, Scott Mitchell.
Mario Robb.
If he gets down to a double, he usually wins a leg.
You require 80.
Better from Mario. Not ideal, that, but doesn't move.
Game shot on the third
That
leg.
is an incredible
Fallon
dart.
Sherrick.
She literally had one area of that double tops to hit. She avoided the flight of her first two darts.
Tops again for Fallon.
Game shot
right
the
in the
fifth leg.
corner. If that was
Fallon
a penalty,
Sherrick.
you'd be at the best penalty you've ever seen.
That was a Harry Kane one. I think she's down to smile there. Look at her.
Sixth leg, it's Fallon to throw first. Fallon, you require 58.
Got a little excited, didn't he, really?
For the match.
38. Mario, you require
What
4.
are you
Slaps it off,
doing?
Scott,
Yeah. What are you doing is what she said there. And we were asking ourselves the same question, Fallon.
It's been a tough week for Mario Robb, and fair play to him there. Fallon was a big favourite going into that opening game. She wasn't herself, magnanimous as she always is in defeat there, but fair play to Mario Robb. Like I said, maybe that's just the moment, that spark, that catalyst. Yes, the averages aren't to write home about, but it's a win for him. It's 2 points under the belt. Good start to the day for Super Mario. As we move on to the next game, it's Martin Adams against Stefan Schroeder. Can't read that. On South Korea. It's 5 o'clock in Yashiro in Japan right now.
Yeah, but which 5 o'clock? In the afternoon or in the morning? I think it's the afternoon because they're ahead. I know about Japanese time these days. I have to.
60.
We'll have no more talk about dart manufacturers, Scott, in here. How do you assess Martin's week? Like I said, it's he'll always be jovial, he'll always be smiling, but you don't become a world 3-time on the bounce world master, a 3-time Lakeside world champion as well, without having that competitive spirit. That never loses.
55.
And sometimes I think that jovial smile that he does is also hiding a little bit of frustration. How do you assess the week?
Yeah, like I say, I think for me, it's just good to see him back playing again at the moment. And
100.
you know, he's like I say, he started really slow in those first 2 games, and we watched that most amazing, crazy game
60.
that probably either of us have ever watched in our lives. And at 3-0 down, there was no way in the world I was even going to bet a Murray Mint on him. And all of a sudden, he got himself back to 4-3. You know, I think he's enjoying himself is, I think, the way to look at it. And a happy Martin is always a Martin that will always sort of turn up and play well. So it's good to see him smiling.
140.
Yeah, he's won the award for the best shirt this week.
101.
Once again, last time I was at the Motor Super Series. I had the pleasure of commentating on Martin, which is always a joy. Treble 19 will be his shot for double 12. For what I always call the perfect game. Ton. 101 finish.
Martin Adams.
He's been here before.
Game
And he's absolutely
shot
there
and
again. It's a
match.
4-2 victory for Stefan Schroeder at the end. It was a tale of missed opportunities once again for Martin Adams, who's probably wishing it was 5 o'clock so he can get his strawberry daiquiri out. But for Stefan Schroeder, he's absolutely delighted. He's 5 wins on the spin now for the Dutchman. It didn't have to be spectacular there, but it's a winning start for the Dutchman to join his fellow opponent Mario Robb, who won his first game today. As we next up is the top of the table, David Evans. He could put a mighty, mighty dent in victory for Group A. He plays Michael Huntley.
You go to any Pro Tour event, you watch it on PDC TV or this.
But he gets there in the end, clinical,
David Evans.
But overall, it wasn't the best of performances, but he does move to 20 points. He's looking good for Group A victory. For Michael Huntley, that was a tough match. He's got to go back and really get them concentrational levels back. But David Evans is the victor. Nothing to write home on the numbers there, but it's all about the 2 points. As next up, it's a big clash. It's Fallon Sherrick against Martin Adams.
Threw everything at it there, but it went to the Got it. Fallon is now double 18, her favourite.
Game shot.
And that's why it's her
leg.
favourite. Super
Fallon
shot from Fallon Sherrick.
She uses an arc. She doesn't need to move. And it's
Game
a big
shot and
4-0 whitewash victory for Fallon Sherrick
Sherrick.
over the luckless Martin Adams there. They have a chat about the game. And Fallon there, 4-0. She just walks off as a mark of respect there to Martin as well, who just wasn't at the races, didn't even get a dart at the double there. It was a pretty much a demolition job there from Fallon Sherrick, and just the type of performance that you can do. And look at that stat on the checkout. 4 from 4, 100%, 110 checkout, 100 checkout. Superb performance from Fallon Sherrick. As next up, it's top of the table, David Evans against Mario Robb. For Evans, something that myself and Scott have been chatting about. David Evans will look at this 104 and say, I fancy this.
Game shot in the second leg.
I fancy
David
he did.
Evans.
Around that time, wasn't it? Barney and Co-Stompy were already there, and Michael Van Gerwen was coming through in 2007 as a young man.
Leg.
And
Mario
wow,
Robb.
talk about invasion. Mario Robb there at 1.
David Evans 132.
Again, Mario throwing that little bit quicker and having more success with a little more rhythm.
Oh, go on, David.
Game shot in
Yes!
the fourth leg. David Evans.
That's the way to do it, the champagne shot. But it's been a champagne week so far for David Evans, and that.
David requires 70.
Not to be this time. Well, Evans will go the 18s route. Does that mean he'll go 12s? No, he's going double 16 for the match, and he takes
shot
it.
on the match.
Far
David
better
Evans.
performance from David Evans there. Mario Robb, he would say, why me, why me? Why has he turned up on me? But look at the stats there. 90 average for Evans. Definitely starting to go through the gears. 4 out of 5 on the checkouts. He'll be looking very happy with that 80%. We head off to a short break, and afterwards we will return with Stefan Schroeder versus Mike Huntley.
Require 8. Game
And
shot
there we
on
go.
the match.
It's game shot
Stefan
on the match.
Schroeder.
4-3 to Stefan Schroeder. His journey continues. He's desperate to be in Group B. Another 2 points on the board. It's going to help seal that. You can see what that means to him back towards the camera. Mid-80s average there. Low 80s for Huntley. A better game, but it was Stefan Schroeder who came out winner.
These are the types of finish for David Evans. He demonstrated it. Not so sure about that way, but he can still finish for double 19. Prove me wrong, David.
Game shot on the first leg.
Only way to go there,
David
Glenn.
Evans.
Only way to go.
I
180.
just fancied that.
$140. David required 36.
With
Game
that
shot on the
dart,
third
we
leg.
will see David Evans
Evans.
here on Saturday night.
David
Realise,
required 40.
but he knows if this top scores in, he knows it's job well done. The winning streak
Game shot on
continues
the
for David
match.
Evans. A very
David Evans.
enjoyable performance from David Evans there. And fair play to Fallon Sherrick. It takes 2 to tango. That's a good game. And look at the reaction with a fist bump. He realises what he's done. He'll be there on Saturday night as we look at the numbers there. Averages don't mean everything. A beautiful 93.85 from Fallon. She'll be happy with that sort of average, but she won't be happy with the fact that it's David Evans who wins. Once again, that 105 checkout being a highlight. Fair play. See you on Saturday night, David Evans. As next up, it's Martin Adams against Michael Huntley.
$18.
And I think, if we're just going back
Michael
to the
requires
sort of
68.
serious side, the 2 main things has been that lateral drift he has in his game, that 1s and 5s that were never there. and his doubles aren't as clinical. Well, Michael Huntley would like to be clinical now on double 4.
Game
He
shot on the
exactly
second
is.
leg. Michael
It's
Huntley.
feast or famine for Michael Huntley this week. At times he's looked fantastic.
Martin, you require
The
106.
head shake I don't want to see from him, because it's just bringing negativity to the subconscious for Michael Huntley. Is Martin Adams so prolific normally on double 16?
Game shot on the fourth
Hasn't
leg.
been this week, and that's the shrug of the
Martin
shoulders
Adams.
there, because that dart hasn't been there this week for Martin Adams. I just think behind him he's beaten himself up so much as Adams looks at double 12. It's the first win of the day for Martin Adams. Another 4-3 match between these two. Not an awful lot to separate them, but an awful lot of respect. As Mike Huntley is magnanimous in defeat with Martin and says, "Finally, I found a double," he's saying. "I'm here," and all is good. And laughter as he walks off. But that's the performance of the day from Martin Adams. By far his best performance. The 106 checkout being the highlight. Good on the outer ring. We haven't said that often this week. Martin gets over the line as we move on to an old Dutch affair next. It's Mario Robb against Stefan Schroeder. How much are you looking at the table? How much are you looking at the permutations? Because I guess that could mess with your head a little bit, where as a dart player we just like to go up and win the game, and Mario Robb has been by far the best at the big finishes, and he adds that to the collection. A 167, a 140, a 106, a 106. Give the man a double.
Feel like it's Mario to throw.
the
Required 60. Game shot in the fourth.
Knock in the corner.
Stefan
in
Schroeder.
is in. It's right in the corner. He did block his way a little with that first dart being very high.
Mario to throw first. Mario, you require 20.
Well, he's had a moment to reflect. He's had a moment to get himself ready. And Mario Robb wins 4-1. I would even say that's his performance of the week. He's just beginning to show the signs, the reasons why he's here. And you can just tell by his body demeanour, the way he's walking off that stage, that he is delighted with that. Could he become really interesting when it comes to Group C? Mid-80 average, but that's one of his better performances. And look at the outer ring once again, 4 from 7. He has been superb on the doubles, and that 140 finish to boot. Excellent darts, Mario Robb. And next up, it's top of the table, David Evans against Martin Wolfie Adams.
Fancied Adams to stay there then. That was a perfect dart and get one dart at double 13.
He goes his own way, and Evans goes his way on 72. Tops for the match. David Evans has been absolutely fantastic. He moves to 26 points. That's how well that man is playing for Martin Adams. He will be in Group C, starting tomorrow afternoon as we look at the tail of the tape there, as you can see from the stats. David Evans, how many times have I said this week, I'm going to average between 8 and 5 in 89. Can you beat it? Once again, excellent on the outer ring. David Evans keeps on motoring. Can anyone stop him this week? Well, next up, it's Stefan Schroeder against Fallon. He's 1-0 up. He doesn't necessarily think, I don't need to win this leg. It's not going to cost me. But top C for 2-0. What a moment that is for Stefan Schroeder. He leads 2-0. This is for the match. What a finish from Stefan Schroeder. Some really good finish in the 108 when he was leading 1-0 was a big... This is for the match. What a finish from Stefan Schroeder. Some really good finish in the 108 when he was leading 1-0 was a big moment. Fallon fought back in that game to lead 3-2. Stefan hit that magnificent bullseye on the 86 and then finished with real aplomb with the finish at the end, the 108 on the tops. It was a lovely game. Maybe the averages don't do it justice there, but for Stefan Schroeder, he won that game with his doubles, 4 from 6. The 108 checkout being a real big highlight there for Stefan Schroeder. He continues to impress and he's looking very, very good in second place. And we will see him in Group B, that's for sure. Michael Huntley's up next. He plays Mario Robb. Yeah, Michael was very generous in information he gave me coming into this competition, which I'll share as Mario for his best leg of the week.
Game
He's
shot
finding
second
some
there.
form as Mario Robb. I
Mario
pretty much
Robb.
wrote him off when I walked in this morning because he just had two days where Mike wouldn't hit the double the way he's feeling right now. You get the sense, get me off the stage. Well, a double four would be the case. Mario Robb wins the game 4-0. It's a whitewash victory. Mario Robb is having by far his best day of the week, and I'm really, really pleased for him because he looked really dejected at times this week, but he's continued to fight, and that's another statement to make. He will be playing Mike Huntley two more times at least this week, and he might remind him at 4-0, but Mario Robb wins 4-0 as we go on to the final games for each player. Next up, it's Stefan Schroeder against top of the table, David Evans.
David, you require 80.
For the match. He likes his tops. And David Evans joins an illustrious list of Jim McEwen and Alex Spellman to finish on 28 points out of 30 in his Group A campaign. Job well done, sir. Only the one defeat over the 3 days. He'll be feeling rather good about himself. Stefan Schroeder will be feeling okay. He'll realise that it was a good job. He knows what he needs to do if he's going to step up there. But a brilliant performance from top of the table, David Evans. What a performance. And next up, it's Mario Robb against Martin Adams. Not to be for Adams. How much pressure can he put on the 56? An awful lot.
Mario, you require 56.
These are the moments for Mario Robb, but he would have taken this morning. You look at the 16, and we know how good he is on a double. And it's a case of Super Mario on Wednesday here at the Motor Super Series. He has been absolutely outstanding, and he looks really proud of himself, and so he should be. He had a dreadful couple of days, but today 4 wins out of 5. You can see him congratulating himself, and an 87 average there, and more in the locker he will feel if he can just complement that fantastic doubles checkout with his scoring. Mario Robb still has an awful lot to play for as we go to the final game of Group A. It's Fallon Sherrick against Michael Huntley. His opponent, Fallon Sherrick, but Michael Huntley will be back for the match. And this is the worst performance of the week for Fallon. She'll go, she'll regroup, she'll come back. She'll still be involved. But it's Michael Huntley finally gets over the winning line in a game that he probably won't remember too much, but it gives him something for his campaign in Group C. But it was all about David Evans' Group A, the record-equaling Group A campaign for David Evans. He will be there on Saturday night. All the other things are done outstanding. A very, very competitive group.
Thank you very much, Glenn. Yes, it was a competitive group for the most part, apart from the fact that David Evans kind of ran away with it from the start, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. You know, I predicted that on Monday. I don't like to say I was right, but I was right. And he did run away with it from the start. And then it was a case of finding out who was going where. And I think it's all fell into place roughly where we thought it would be.
Final confirmation of the results on your screen now. Mike Huntley signing off with that 4-2 win against Fallon Sherrick, and Mario Robb signing off with a 4-2 win as well, Scott. Both giving themselves something to take into Group C.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Mike has had a tough day today, and that was his only win. And to beat Fallon is never an easy feat at any point in time. So he'll take a little bit of something from that game. And Mario, he played his way into this week. He really did. He's been out of the game at this kind of level and the TV level for quite a while. And I mentioned it to him on Monday after the session and said, "You're going to play your way in, aren't you?" He said, "I think I am." He said, "It's all a bit strange and I feel a bit rusty." And he came to the party today.
Let's talk a little bit more about David Evans, because he is the player that really dominated this group. We're not going to see him again until Saturday. Equalled a record, didn't he? How good was he in this group?
Well, Glenn and I were down in commentary and we could see it coming. We could see it coming yesterday. And, you know, if he goes through today and he did everything that he needed to do. And look, he was mighty impressive. Just the fact that he was doing enough. He wasn't asking too much of himself. He wasn't getting upset in the silly moments. It was a mature Group A, really, from Dave Evans.
Good enough to go and win it on Saturday?
Yeah, I don't see why not, because I think that he can step up to the games that everybody else is going to bring. If they bring it. I mean, will the moment get them? We don't know. It's the love of why darts is like it is. You never can predict accurately, and you never can tell how it's going to go.
Well, let's have a look at the final league table just to give you confirmation of that record. He's equalled the points tally, the win tally in a Group A of both Jim McEwen and Alex Spellman, who did it earlier in the series, actually. Spellman didn't get through on finals night. Jim McEwen, who did it a lot longer ago, actually is going to be at Champions Week this time around. But of the rest of the field there, who do you think could end up turning their week around enough to threaten Evans and some of the big hitters that are coming in?
Well, I think we've got to look at that Group B now and look at where it is. Stefan Schroeder, for me, is not really clicked into the gears. He's new, he's a debutant, and maybe I'm asking a little bit too much of him. But he told us he wanted to be in that Group B. He wanted to be with those big names to test himself up there on that stage. And I think he's one to keep an eye out for. Yeah,
there you can see he is. He's got his wish. He's in that Group B. So he's going to join Fallon Sherrick, Steve West, Danny Lowby and Robert Thornton coming in. That is some group. And then in Group C, Martin Adams, Mario Robb and Mike Huntley, joined by Kevin Dowling. Justin Hood is a former winner himself here at the Super Series, and Rhys Colley. So even though Evans has had such a dominant campaign in Group A, it's never a certainty, is it, when it comes to finals night, because there are some fantastic players there.
Absolutely. I mean, there's some of my former England teammates in Group C as well, and I know what they're like when their back's up against the wall as well. Both groups are absolutely sort of scintillating groups for two different reasons. I think Group C is unbelievably even. So, which two are going to come out of there? You're going to have to watch to find out, I think.
Yeah, you certainly are, and you can watch tomorrow from 1 p.m. live on the Motor Super Series YouTube channel for the first 6 matches, and then we'll join our friends in Sporty Stuff TV from 3 p.m. and then on both platforms from 10 for the start of Group B, which looks ultra competitive. Now, this is the last week in qualifying for Champions Week, the last week of Series 5, but if you cast your minds back all the way to Week 2, we had one player who had a 9-darter and the highest ever average here at the Super Series. But the question is, can Daryl Pilgrim prevail at Champions Week?